Hello everybody, here we are again. I'm Jane, this is Emily, we're Driven, and we are here today to help people with their standards check and with their Part 3 tests. We're looking at the competency, was the technical information given comprehensive, appropriate and accuracy? And this is the fourth competency under the teaching and learning strategies.
So we are providing a handout. We've done a handout for this. So if you would like a copy of that handout, please leave a comment and we will get in touch and get your email address and send you a PDF version of it.
Perfect. So moving forward, let's look at the technical information. This is relating to things like all of your books, the highway code. It's going to cover things like the car controls and the goal. So the books you might want to be thinking and looking at are Driving Essential Skills, the Highway Code, the National Standards,
yeah.
All of those sort of things. Those are the sort of stuff you should be knowing and reading and absorbing.
Yeah. So it's really important to retain the information and the knowledge that you've learnt for your Part 1, but not just that information, actually just keep on learning, keep on taking it and keep using it on your lessons.
Yes, and try and think of different ways of saying the same thing as well, because that helps. We also need to think about the car controls. If you're going to talk about car controls, how to steer, for example, where you hold the steering wheel, it needs to be current as well, because the old school was you had to hold your hands at 10 to 2, and now you don't. So that wouldn't be accurate information. You can hold them as long as you're keeping control of the car. You move them around the wheel wherever you want, really.
Yeah, so it's making sure that your information is accurate, that you're not giving that wrong information. You know, it should be as it is in the books. If you're not sure about the answer, if your pupil asks you a question, bit embarrassing if you don't know the answer, really, isn't it? So best if you know it.
Yes.
If you don't, then you could just say, I tell you what, let's get the highway code out and have a look at what it says in there. However, it's far better if you've got it in here.
It is, but that is a way of avoiding not knowing the answer. You can say, I'll look it up with you, let's do this together. But yeah, you need to have these answers. There's no other way to say that. And it's why we do the Parts 1 and the Part 2, that it's all building up your knowledge for you.
Yeah, so don't underestimate the importance of those two tests, the Part 1 and the Part 2. They're not just tests that you need to get out the way to get to your Part 3. They are integral to everything that goes into your teaching. Your Part 2 is your blueprint of your teaching. Your Part 1 is your technical knowledge. And you're applying that technical knowledge to your Part 2, which in turn relates to your Part 3.
And to your teaching skills.
God, just forever going forwards, as when you're a qualified green badge holder, that lovely ADI qualification.
Yes. So one of the elements of the competence is also comprehensive, and this means rounded, full, a comprehensive amount of information, not just about understandable. It has to be, you want to make it digestible, but you also want to make sure that you have given them everything they need to know. So for example, we don't want to be vague when we give them instructions.
So for example, if you're talking about steering and you say, oh, you need to do a little bit more steering, how much is a little bit? You know, your idea of a little bit might be this, theirs might be this. So you need to quantify that amount. So you might say, okay, turn the wheel an extra quarter turn. Okay, so you're quantifying the amount. You've both got a good idea of what that looks like.
Yes, and something else might be if you are getting too close to parked cars, that's not very helpful. It's not telling them how much where they need to be. So rather than saying you're getting too close to parked cars, you might want to say we want to keep a metre gap from there, or imagine a door opening, keep away from the door. Or if a person is standing next to it, say imagine if a person was standing, would you want to get this close? And make sure they understand what a metre looks like. You know, how long's a piece of string? So make sure you measure, you calibrate their understanding with what your understanding is. Okay. So and then if you wanted to add more, or them to add more gas or use more brake, then you can use other terms, can't you?
For instance, you might say press your foot the thickness of a pound coin more on the gas. That was a little bit wordy, but you can use pound coin thicknesses as a quantity for how much you want them to raise or press a pedal. or you might put it into percentages. You might say 10% or 20% more. So yeah, that's just and car lengths for distances.
Yes, really good one. Yes, you were saying about if you've got to stop early for a roundabout, a bit earlier doesn't really help.
Yeah, so you're approaching a roundabout, or you need to start slowing earlier. How much earlier? Okay, let's talk about this in car lengths. How many car lengths away from the roundabout do you need to start slowing down?
And I think people have a good concept of a car length.
Yeah.
I think they can visualise that more easily than a metre or 5 metres, because they've got to start counting.
Exactly. As soon as the meters grow and grow, it becomes harder to judge, doesn't it? Yeah.
And it's changing all the time, so you're losing ground.
So I mean, the next thing about this competence is it's got to be appropriate and relevant. Okay, so appropriate and relevant to the goal, to the pupil's goal. There's no point going off on a tangent and talking for 5 minutes about something completely irrelevant to what they're trying to learn on that lesson. Don't keep chipping in with irrelevant facts and figures. You know, they're not an empty, this is what Sue from Try Coaching does. They're not an empty vessel waiting to be filled with information from us. We're not pouring our knowledge into them. We're just simply here to facilitate their learning, aren't we? So we
a bit at a time.
Yeah, a bit at a time.
Yes. Yeah. And if there's something they come across that they really need to know, then we can work on that as a separate thing. But under this competence, this is not. It has to be relevant. So, for example, as you approach this roundabout, look early to the right so that you can judge whether or not you need to adjust your speed. Would be an appropriate information, accurate, relevant.
An inappropriate or completely irrelevant thing might be, as they're approaching the roundabout, what's the speed limit here?
I know. It's like,
roundabout.
So they're thinking about the speed limit and not about the roundabout, and it will all fall apart. So you get the idea, don't you?
I hope they get the idea. Do you get the idea? Let us know in your comments.
Yes, tell us what you think.
Yeah,
like and comment.
Like and comment. Yeah, remember, if you want a handout, let us know. Okay.
Okay. Thanks much. Bye.
Thank you.